one of my favorite scenes in any movie, because the director or whoever thought about it was so brilliant, was Godfather. Before Michael shoots the two guys in the restaurant, the train is stopping. You hear train screeching. You hear them stopping to pick people up. If you've ever done anything bad in your life, there's a point of the adrenaline that your ears start ringing. You have no fucking idea when your ears start ringing. When you're doing something and you're deaf from the adrenaline, that's a complete different world. Whoa. When I robbed that jewelry store with Marblehead that time, when I was running up the corner, I was looking at grand larceny. You know, I'm looking at theft. I'm looking at 1,000 things. I'm looking basically at 12 and a half fucking years. Or maybe 8 years with good behavior. But I'm looking at time. My ears were ringing when I was running. Once I got around that corner and those chains were all over the floor and stuff, and I was picking them up, I was the king of the world. That adrenaline fear should have made me get in that car and drive away. But I was till today, when I asked that fucking moron, where's the jewelry? And he goes, it fell. And I go, you fucking kidding me? And you just walked up here with this? And I went and picked up those chains. By this point, everybody was out in the street going, hey, stop those kids. Listen, a bullet wasn't going to stop me right there. Nothing was going to. I picked up those gold chains, threw them in the back of the car, got in that back seat, and we took the fuck off. We hit a right. We hit 68th Street, whatever the fuck it was. And all of a sudden, I light the trunk, because we were going to put the jewelry in the trunk. But the trunk didn't open. The trunk was jammed, so we had to put it in the back seat. The beauty of this is, at the first light, we stopped, there's a cop, and the trunk opens up as the cop is passing by. The cop never noticed it, and we fucking got the jewelry off. But that fear I had running around that fucking hill, when I got in trouble in Boulder and I kidnapped Vela, while Vela was in the apartment, when him and the biker were there, that Tidwell moron were arguing, and I left him there, when I walked into that house, that was the best adrenaline I ever had in my life.
Wow.
Because there was a guy that opened the door for you, a door guy dressed in an outfit in front of this building. Now, I had just been there an hour before to pick the victim up and to take him to the location. When my friend went over, he stopped him, whatever, and they buzzed him up. I don't know how he got up, but when I went back, from the way I slammed that door, when he saw, I'll never forget the look on his face. My body language, the adrenaline was coming out of my fucking ears, because he didn't even say good afternoon. He didn't open the door for me. I just walked in that fucking building. I got in the elevator, I went upstairs, and I basically walked to the door and kicked it in. My ears were on fire. I mean, my body was just hot. That's a fucking great feeling when you're on fucking fire. And I kicked the door in, and they had like a ceiling, and I just jumped up and pulled it down. I pulled the whole fucking, you know those
drop tile
ceilings?
Yeah.
Like the coke was on one of those tiles. I knew the tile. Guess what? I didn't have time. I just jumped up like a gorilla that I am.
Oh my God.
And pulled it, and the thing just came. It was like, it looked like 9/11. You ever see those things hanging? That's how the roof looked. Oh my God. Like the basement of Tower 4, whatever the fuck it was. There was beams hanging, dust everywhere. When I walked out, I had dust all over my face, my shirt. I had ripped that fucking ceiling down. I fucking picked up that coke and I went in the car. You have no idea how I felt. By the time I got out, I was already that clear, because it's so funny. Lee, how you feeling, Doug?
I'm feeling fine.
You ready for another star?
Sure, but I'm just like, how did you only get caught
Crazy.
once? You're
so
tearing
crazy.
down buildings, you're kicking down doors.
Yeah. You're doing 9/11s.
Your adrenaline.
Yeah.
Will take
you
you to
can't
places
sleep.
you can't think. You can't think logically. But here's the beauty of it that I've always thought about. Okay, so I parked the car facing whatever the fuck, this direction. But when I got in the car, to my right, but when I got in the car, I noticed that there was a newspaper thing, and already my head was clear. Because when I pulled out of that thing, I crossed over right onto 19th and Canyon Boulevard, and that's where the halfway house is. How much of a sign is that? And I went in, I ripped apart the 2 kilos, And I took like a fucking handful of coke out and put it in like a newspaper that I had in the car. That's how much of a primitive guy I was. I took the 2 fucking packages and I put them under a newspaper thing, so I wouldn't have them on me. You follow me?
One of those newspaper dispensers or whatever it's called in the street.
Yeah.
Not done a dispenser, but
those little stands you get your free paper.
One of those.
Wrap it up.
The quarter paper. I put it under there because I didn't want it on me if the cops pulled me over. And that fucking guy at the door didn't even look at me on the way out. Didn't say thank you for coming, thank you for shopping here. Nothing.
Shit.
Not zero respect, Troy Conrad.
Jesus. Now, will you do something like that with that level of adrenaline? You go home. How long before you can sleep? Because that shit stays in your system forever.
Oh no, I wasn't going to sleep that night. I had a handful of coke.
Oh,
between the adrenaline and the blow, it was. They call it adrenaline dump. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. When it's you get it all out, and then it just brings you down. But coke would bring you right back. Yeah. So the adrenaline dump is when you get it all out. It's just like and then you get home and it starts to wear off, and it's like it goes really low, right?
And that's when the soreness comes in.
Yeah.
That's when you realize, fuck, I dropped the glove in front of Kato's.
Because you
don't
notice the glove when there's adrenaline. That's why that happened. Yeah.
That's why the knife slips. And
it
cuts your fingers.
Yep.
You know, when I was running from the cops and that dog, I ripped my hand open. I got caught on the barbed wire. I had to untake the glove from my skin. No, that binga. You have no idea. In today's modern world, I would have passed out, but the adrenaline,
right,
kept me going. I didn't even think of my hand bleeding. No fainting. In fact, I went home and left the glove on. I said, why fuck with it? Let me go to the bar with the glove on. The glove was filled with blood.
Oh, Jesus.
We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.